mà sư phụ nó bị anh em ha hê ha ôi ơi tâm ha ya ha ôi ơi ta si ai me anada Chiha, Waya Hoseha, Onya Kai, Wanaka Moho, Kaeo He, Yajohone, Wayana Hema, Ahea, Haya Hanam. Kusora Nekwana, Onya Kai, Wanaka Moho, Kaeo He, Yajohone. Wayana hema ahea hanya hanam kusara je puna hanga unya kai puna kamo hoka eo he kenyo honye wayana hema ahea hanya hanam kusara je puna hanga unya kai Puna kamo ho ka eo he ke yo nyoe wayana he ma a he a ha Kakama ke hom mo ta a he ya wo che he chogam emma ta ho ai ho na nam Kahama hama Jojo na kohina da hawana nam Tay ti chuana kamay pai mun Kakama ke hom mo ta ha he ya wa che he kagam Himmata wo ai wana nan nam Hama, Jojo, na kohina da hawana nam. Tay chituana kamay pai mun. Kakama ke hom mo ta hara he awache he kagam. Himmata wo ai wana nam. Hama, Jojo, na kohina da hawana nam. Tay chituana kamay pai mun. Couple. Hey, ya bên ơi tổ quốc kim, hey ya bên ơi tổ quốc kim, hey ya bên ơi tổ quốc kim, hey ya phố cha hey win, cơ quê tình yêu với người hiểu không, hey ya phố cha hey win, hey ya bên ơi tổ quốc kim, hey ya bên ơi tổ quốc kim, hey ya bên ơi tổ quốc kim. Hey, I'm a fool, hey, quên tình yêu với người hiểu không? Hey, I'm a fool, hey, hey, ya bên người tổ quốc kim, hey, ya bên người tổ quốc kim, hey, ya bên người tổ quốc kim, hey, I'm a fool, hey, quên tình yêu với người hiểu không? Hey, I'm a fool, hey, cơ quê tình yêu với người hiểu không? hey I'm a go ya hey when a third with the young hey I'm a go ya hey when a third with the young oh hey hey I'm a yo to hey I'm a go ya hey when a third with the young hey I'm a go ya hey when hey, ya bên đời tổ kim. Hey, hey, ya bên đời tổ kim. Hey, hey, ya tổ kim. Hey, ya một cô cha hey, win. Cơ quên tình yêu của người. Hey, ya một cô cha hey, win. Hey, ya bên đời tổ kim. Hey, hey, ya bên đời tổ kim. Hey, hey, ya bên đời tổ kim. Hey, I'm a boy, hey, tình nhớ hơi nhơi vâm hey I'm a cô ya hey em Papa. Papa.
And you can use any materials you have at home, like these. We use coffee filters, or you can also use paper towels. So let's go over some of the materials that you'll need. So here are the materials that you'll need. You'll need some paper towels or coffee filters, some washable markers, glue, scissors. You'll need a spray bottle and foil, or you can also use plastic wrap. And you can get some construction paper to do some designs for your stained glass, or you can also download the templates from our Facebook and Twitter. Find a good surface to work in, like a piece of cardboard. Then grab a piece of foil or plastic wrap that will keep the colors from seeping through and will keep the water from soaking through. The first technique is to draw your picture directly on the foil or plastic wrap. For this technique, make sure to use a lot of color. Once you're done with your drawing, spray the design lightly with water. Then place your paper towel or coffee filter over the wet color and press down. Lift up and let dry. In this next technique, you draw directly on the coffee filter or paper towel. Spray with water until the color spreads out over the surface. Then carefully lift the coffee filter and place somewhere to dry. In this next technique, fold a coffee filter into fourths or eighths. Then apply color to one side only. Make sure to apply enough color to spread to all the layers. Place the coffee filter on one side of the foil and spray it with water. Then cover it with another piece of foil and press down. Open it up and unfold to reveal your design. Don't forget to clean between projects and reuse the foil. You can also fold a paper towel in many different shapes. Here we fold the paper towel into a triangle and again apply color to only one side. Then repeating the process, we sprayed it with water and covered with another piece of foil and pressed down. Then we open up and unfold to reveal a new design. Remember to use more color and water on paper towels. To frame your design, you can use these stencils and, using scissors, carefully cut out the white areas, leaving the black frame. You can also use an X-Acto knife to cut out more elaborate details. After you're finished cutting, you can glue your frame onto your design by applying glue on the back of your frame. Then place your design over the frame and press down. When you're done, let your new stained glass panel dry. With paper towels, you can separate the plies and reveal a mirror image of your design. Using construction paper, you can cut out a frame for your stained glass panel. You can cut out strips of construction paper and glue them onto your design. You can also be creative and draw your own design on construction paper. Making any design you want to frame your stained glass and then cutting it out. Once you are finished, glue it onto your design. include stained glass panels wherever you'd like.
The portal to the past was a doorway into the Pueblo Grande Museum archaeology. And even throughout the world, could submit an idea that would create public art that would stimulate, encourage, inspire people to think about the way we use water and the desperate need to take care of and conserve the water, the clean water that we do have. So my idea, in conjunction with the Pueblo Grande Museum, was to create a gate
or opening that would welcome people who are using the Grand Canalscape pathway onto the museum grounds. Artist Sako Guerrero. I'm Nicole Armstrong Best, the director of Pueblo Grande Museum. We are owned and operated by the city of Phoenix since 1929. And the Grand Canal runs through the museum, built on top of the prehistoric canals that the ancestral Sonoran Desert people built.
I wanted to create something that was at once recognizably indigenous and what's known as the Hohokam style. I wanted to honor that style and recognize it. There was so much trade going on between the North and the South, meaning the southwestern United States. So I did that by trying to create a duality and a symmetry and trade created between the North and the South. Therefore, we have the two faces, two profiles meeting in the middle and becoming an entity. Also, I wanted to depict the river, the movement and the flow of water. And for that, I used the serpent undulating, moving back and forth, moving up and down. At the same time, it's surrounded by creatures from the river, fish, frogs, and the birds. And of course, the most important element, the corn, the most important crop. And they were able to grow an abundance of corn, beans, and squash because of the ancestral Sonoran Desert people engineered over 1,000 years ago.
Hi, welcome to Pueblo Grande. My name is Twig Johnson. I'll be your docent today to take you on a quick tour of Pueblo Grande Museum. Let's go and take a look around. Hi, welcome to Pueblo Grande. This is one of the things that makes Pueblo Grande unique, this big platform mound, along with our 10 major canals that we find here. So now we're actually on top of the mound. The mound would have been at least 3 stories high. It's the length of a football field. And this is a place that would probably have been used for ceremonies and also for looking over the extensive irrigation system. One of the really interesting things from the mound that you can see is this mysterious maze. It's a series of rooms that we believe held important items because people were coming from all sorts of villages, all sorts of places, including from up north, to this place. All this tells the story about how important Pueblo Grande was, that it was an incredibly important village within the Hohokam world. On your visit to Pueblo Grande, you can visit the 2 different types of houses that the Hohokams lived in. The compound adobe house to my left and the pit houses to my right. You can also see an excavated ball court and visit our gardens that contain native crops. Pueblo Grande also hosts a variety of events, classes, and programs throughout the year that highlights Native American arts, culture, the science of archaeology, and prehistoric technologies. Our indoor exhibits explore archaeology, Hohokam culture, and showcase artifacts found at Pueblo Grande and other sites in the valley, with a changing gallery that rotates exhibits on archaeology and Southwest cultures. Don't forget to visit our museum store, which features authentic Native American art.
What we're looking at now is a model of the Va'aki, the platform mound, as archaeologists think it may have looked around 1300 AD. So that would be about 150 years after essentially the 2 mounds that began life as the current Va'aki were joined together. So it's an impressive structure. The interesting thing to note is that when you look at that map, the map of the canals, it doesn't show the extensive canal system, but it also will demonstrate that there were over 50 platform mounds in the Salt River Valley. The thing about them, though, is that they were not all as big or as elaborate as ours. And many of them were not built of the same sort of durable materials that this was, with the adobe or stone cells that were filled in, capped, and built up layer upon layer to get what this model represents, which is a roughly 3-story tall structure that is about the length of an American football field, 100 yards, and I'm going to guess maybe 30, 40 yards wide. That is an enormous structure. That's enormous. And again, this is built by people who were busy digging and maintaining canals. Of course, you can't have canals, just don't dig a canal. Forget it, even today. When they drive by parts of the valley where you see a canal is completely dry, they've stopped the water from running in it so that they can clean the canal out, so that water runs effectively and smoothly through it and isn't blocked by the debris or stuff that's in it. Well, the same was true back then. So, very busy building, maintaining canals. They were busy farming. The bad news about farming in the desert is, as I've said before, it's hot and it's dry. And there are not a lot of plants that like to live here, but if you can water your gardens, they're the ancestral document, and you can bring in 2 harvests a year, sometimes 3. So you can grow a lot of food, and I think that's why the ancestral document stayed here and thrived here. It's a very productive land if you can get water to it. But farming, I've been told, in New York City, I've been told farming is labor intensive. I don't know. But I'm sure it is. Prepare the soil, you have to sow, you have to weed, you've got to harvest, prepare the ground again. So these were busy people. They were making craft items. They were busy dealing with their neighbors, ceremonies, other social obligations. And then around 1150, 1200, they decided apparently as a society that this would be a good time, a good use of their spare time. This was important to them. This was very important to them, especially this one and the platform at Mesa Grande, which is south of the Salt River, of course, in Mesa. So the amazing thing about this is a couple of things. 3 stories tall. The only story that people could get onto was the very top one. The bottom 2, I'm going to call them stories, were just, again, fill. Rocks, cells, fill, cap with caliche, build a second layer, and then the 3rd layer, which was actually in use. In use as what? You know, I don't think archaeologists know particularly, but they feel that this was not a year-round residence, surprisingly enough. May have been occupied during ceremonial times of the year by priests or headmen or chiefs who who were officiating there. They found a room that stored ceremonial objects up here. There's also a room in the southeast corner that you will see when you go tour the mountain that had 2 doorways in it that the sun shone through both doorways on the day of the summer solstice. So this was a multi-function, and not only that, it's at the head. I mean, Pueblo Grande is at the head of about, in the classic period, about 10 canals. In fact, take a look at the map. Almost every village on the north side of the Salt River got their water through here. The south side, Mesa Grande, not quite in the same position, but their canal system also went through that. So there's some notion that these played a role in the construction, the maintenance of the canals, and the distribution of water. Just like it is today with us and our neighboring states fighting over water rights. Not fought over it, but you can imagine that this was very important. So it also could have served as a center of that sort of coordination and control. Surrounding it is a wall that was in its time between 6 and 7 feet tall and 3 feet thick. You may notice, if you look at the model, that there are no doorways in the outside wall.
Welcome to Pueblo Grande. My name is Don Apple. The original mound, as well as 3 acres, were purchased by a gentleman by the name of Thomas Armstrong. He was a judge, as well as being the president of the Arizona Archaeological and Historical Society. He bought the original mound for the purpose of preservation and presented it to the city. That same year, 1924, the city engineer recommended that the city purchase an additional 10 acres that contained 2 of the original canals. This is the area that became the Park of the Four Waters. And in the early 1930s, the city decided to go ahead and make a museum. The original building was started in 1933. It has the distinction of only costing $14.95, the cost of 1 box of nails. The remaining part of the building was made of adobe, and the adobe bricks were made right on property with dirt taken from the excavation. There were a number of major excavations during the 1930s. Most of them were part of the alphabet projects that were done during the Depression. That building stayed and was here until the early 1960s when it was torn down. And the current building was built in a series of about 30 years.
Hello, my name is Randy Kemp, and I'm Chuck. Live with humans. As they dance around, they kept pecking at the back, pecking. Nothing would happen until an adult raven flies down in between the young ravens and gawks at them. Caw, caw, caw. And I think he says, don't you know how to open this bag? Don't you know how to live with these humans? Don't you know that there's food inside this bag? The raven grabs the bag and flies straight up into the air. And when he's high enough, he drops the bag. The bag falls down, bursts open, fries and burgers for everyone. That is just a lesson to understand that even birds are a teaching society and that they teach their young about how to adapt and grow and survive. So here's a song that's called The Raven Dance. Meadow, thank you. Meadow, thank you. This piece is entitled The Chicken Song. And as I was growing up as a small warrior, I spent time with my grandparents who practiced food sovereignty down in southern Oklahoma. And when we would arrive in evening time, we would all just rest in the house, find a place to sleep. But the next morning, I got up really early because I heard my grandmother in the kitchen, and she was preparing breakfast. So I asked if I could help, and she said, "Sure. Why don't you go down to the chicken house and get some eggs?" And so I said, "Yeah, I'm a small warrior. I can do that." So as I was walking out the door, there was a wire basket on the porch, and I grabbed that, and I was heading down this trail, and she said, "Wait, just before you go down there, just remember, don't wake up the chickens." And I thought to myself, as a small warrior, I didn't know chickens slept. I didn't know if they were sleeping on their backs, on their sides, or standing up. I was really puzzled as a small warrior. But I said, okay, I'll go down and get some eggs. So I followed this little path down the trail, and sure enough, there was a small building. And inside this building were the chickens. And how did I know that inside there were chickens? because of the aroma. And so there I was standing in the dark, and I had the wire basket, and I began to grab all these eggs and put them inside my basket, And I was reaching all over, grabbing eggs from my basket. And then my basket was really full. And I thought to myself, well, I'm really, really hungry. And I want a big omelet. So I thought I'd go for one more egg. So I really reached up on my tippy toes to the top tier and grabbed another egg. And I had it in my hand. And as I was pulling it down, I bumped the chicken. Rock, buck, 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 rock, buck, buck, and all 15 chickens went off at the same time. They were so loud, it scared me. I ran in place in the dark. I don't remember how I even got out of there. I had the wire basket, but I know that that morning we had scrambled eggs. This story tells me, and I always want to remember it through a song, through the flute, because it reminds me of a time where my grandparents practiced food sovereignty and sustainability. So here is the song called the Chicken Song, or Tear the Roof Off the Chicken House when you go to get their eggs. It's called the Chicken Song. This is an improvisational piece, and it's off of double chambered flutes, and I hope you enjoy that as well. Mado, thank you again.
Hi, I'm Kim Nishihara, exhibit designer at Pueblo Grande Museum. Although the museum has been closed, staff have been busy preparing for you to return. We have spent lots of time making sure our exhibits are safe for you and your family. This time has caused us to stop and think about all the objects, buttons, and surfaces we touch in the museum and how we can find creative solutions to still make these available to you without sacrificing safety. We've also been doing a lot of programs and events through videos such as this one. Although the videos have been fun and again a challenge for museum staff in good ways, we are sure ready for you to come back to the museum in person. One project that I'm truly excited to tell you about at the Pueblo Grande Museum is our new gallery. When you visited us before, you know that we have our main gallery and one changing gallery. Also, we have a theater showing a film. That film is still on view in the main gallery. We moved it there so that now we have another changing exhibit gallery. Welcome to our new community gallery. Let's take a look. As you can see, the gallery is newly painted and still under renovation. After 20 years, it needed some freshening up. We need to clean up the carpets, add baseboards, and work on the lighting. But this is the new gallery at the museum. We're extremely excited about this gallery as it opens up a space for showcasing community artists, budding artists, quick turnaround shows, and collaborative exhibits. You will be able to see 1 to 2 new exhibits a year in this gallery. When we open this fall, you will be able to see our new show, which is part of the nationwide celebration of the 19th Amendment and 100-year anniversary of when women won the right to vote. However, the 19th Amendment did not give all women the right to vote. Native American women continue and still continue even to this day, fighting for access to voting and voting rights. We must remember this, and so that is the story that we're telling. Pueblo Grande's new fall exhibit is called Rights and Resilience, Celebrating Native American Women. Learn more about this history when you visit the museum. But I do want to note one important fact here. This was 72 years ago and still counting. Just this year, in 2020, the House of Representatives and the Senate began discussions on the Voting Rights Advancement Act to restore federal oversight of the local voting rules and practices, an act that would impact many people, including Native Americans. Rights and Resilience, Celebrating Native American Women, is an exhibition devoted solely to Native American women who fight for their people, their place, and their heritage. They are leaders in government, protectors of environmental and human rights, keepers of tradition, innovators and changemakers, entrepreneurs, scientists, advocates, and educators. Despite warfare, cultural assimilation, and persecution, these resilient women inspire fresh perspectives and thoughtful conversations and embody economy. Centered around themes of adaptability, perseverance, and transformation, the exhibit will feature ethnographic objects and several powerful artworks from contemporary artists. One of the artists in the exhibit, Kim Oberzet, will showcase her beautiful bronze sculptures. She has been casting bronze for over 35 years. Kim is one of the first Hopis to work in bronze as an art medium and one of the first American Indian women to work in bronze, which is historically a male-dominated field of art. Kim has graciously shared this video with us as a sneak peek at her beautiful female sculptures. Take a look.
This is the Mother's Gift bronze sculpture by Kim Oberzet. She is 16.5 inches high by 10 inches wide by 8 inches deep. Corn is the heart of the Hopi diet and has provided the Hopi with life for over a millennium. We understand that this is a sacred gift from our mother, Mother Earth. In Hopi life, the growing of corn is an arduous task which requires dry farming skills continuous hard work, and a lot of prayer. Our corn is grown in less than 9 inches of annual rainfall and dry washes. The Hopi people sustain the corn, and the corn sustains the Hopi culture. Every living thing has a spirit, even insects, which also are given to us by our mother. Having a deep understanding of the natural cycles of the earth, the butterfly is celebrated not only for its beauty that brings happiness to the people, but also for its important contribution in pollinating plant life. The Hopi thought is one mind, one body, and one spirit.
When the museum opens, I encourage you to visit the new exhibit to see Kim's sculptures and more. On view in the newly renovated community gallery here at Pueblo Grande Museum through April 18, 2021. Now, let's go outside and see what's new there. Come on. At the museum, we have so much to see, both indoors and outdoors. Another project that we'll be getting started on now that the weather has cooled a bit is the Native Crop Garden. To get us started, Native Seed Search donated seeds for Pueblo Grande Museum's garden. Thanks, Native Seed Search. The museum received corn, 2 varieties of squash, sunflowers, melons, cotton, gourds, chiltepines, amaranth, and beans. Plans are in the works for sprucing up the garden structure and planting the seeds in October. The garden is a modern illustration that will demonstrate irrigation techniques, crops, and pest control like those used by the Otham and their ancestors. Look at these photos of the growing garden. That's what will be growing here. If you have a green thumb and you'd like to get involved in the garden or in exhibits, let us know. Whether a visitor or a volunteer, there are many reasons to enjoy Pueblo Grande Museum and many opportunities to be involved. We hope to see you soon and hear from you sooner.
Afternoon, everybody. We are the Kuriyakuma dancers from the Gila River Indian community. Our tribe, long before time began, we farmed from the rivers, and a lot of things have to do in our culture has a lot to do with the river. And we just want to thank the organizers of this event, Portal to the Past. This first song and dance is going to be about wind that blew so hard it shook the ground. Yo wenga morba, ayo wenga morba, yo na pa na to no ba. Game no petanie, jenia bania czekaczyn, a kojno kamo hekjoem, I ever heard it, I want you wing a mother, you wing a mother, you're not bana tono bang, gamen no petanye, jenya ben education, akoy no kamo hekyoem, I ever heard it, my name, jenya ben education. Akoy no kamo hekyoem, Ayabahari Naivanyam Janavanya Sakashan Akaino Kamo Akyohim Ayabahari Naivanyam Yowenga Morva Ayowenga Morva Yon Yana Pana Tono Ba Kamano Betanye Yana Banya Takatan Akoino Kamo Ekyohem I have heard it, I want it. Going up over, going up over. Panatono ba, kamano batanye. Jenya takatan. Akoino kamo akyohem ayaba uri naibonyem Jenabanya tekatan Akoino kamo akyohem ayaba uri naibonyem Jenabanya tekatan Ayaba uri naibonyem Jenyavanya takatan Akoino kamo akyohem Ayaba uri naibonyem Sikore pantong aeya Onyetang Sikore pantong aeya Onyetang Marong oyosik Matokang sikura Aheya manyeta, haya haya haya, manyeta seyardik, ayan tegevam, sekore tanyetong aheya manyeta. Sekore tanyito ngaheya manyetang marangoyosiko matokamsiko ratinime aheya manyetang haya Ayanagalam Marangayosiko Matokamsiko Aheya Manyetam Haya Manyetam Seyadik Ayanagalam Marangayosiko Matokamsiko Aheya Manyetam Haya Manyetam Seyadik Ayanagalam Shatiyara Yosinga Kanyaka
kabele kanyanya oyang hema aheya hanya Hechorane kwenanga kanye kapina kongo kaveve kanyene moyangema aheya hanyana Shakiyana yosenga kanye kapina kongo kaveve kanyene moyanga hema aheya hanyana Hechorane kwenanga kanye kapina kongo kaveve kanyene moyanga hema aheya hanyana Hechorane kwenanga kanye kapina kongo kaveve kanyene moyanga hema aheya hanyana Hechorane kwenanga kanye kapina kongo kaveve kanyene moyanga hema aheya hanyana. Thank you.
Thanks for checking out this artist chat. My name is Thomas Bree Marcus, and I'll be discussing a little bit about my work and some of the inspirations behind it. I work mainly on canvas, but I also like to find or build three-dimensional objects that I can lend my style to. I'm also a large-scale mural painter, and I've been working with aerosol for close to 30 years now. I was born and raised in the Maryville neighborhood of West Phoenix. However, I also grew up on the Salt River Pima Maricopa community. My father is originally from the village of Wet Camp on the Gila River Reservation, and my mother is from a village called Arichukchon down on the Tohono Nation. This intricate style that I work in, I've been developing for the last 20 years. It's a direct influence of my experience as a graffiti writer and working with typography. A part of working with graffiti writing is pushing the boundaries of your letter forms. And at one point, I made the decision to sort of deconstruct the letter forms, keep the basic components of it, but to start creating these abstract compositions and start this new visual language. The other main source of inspiration comes from the autumn basket designs and the concept of weaving. Recently, I've branched out into multimedia. I've been experimenting a lot with photography and video, as well as graphic design and animation. So it's been a new learning curve, but it's been really beneficial to help get so many different ideas out in different ways and to utilize these different platforms to tell stories about what's happening right now or creating new discussions about the continuum of these historical legacies. So whether it's through canvas or a large scale mural or photography, video, multimedia, sculpture, it's all relevant. One thing I hope the viewer can walk away with after seeing my work is the layers and the complexities. But beyond that, I hope to create sort of a reflection back onto the viewer and have them ponder a greater existence and also think about the interconnectedness of all things, the way indigenous people have always taught each other about our community and our surrounding environment and the natural world, and how those things have been important to us and to our survival since the beginning of time.